guys, this is the ASMR Nerd, and today we're going to be playing Civilization 5, specifically the Brave New World expansion. This video was the winner of the Viewer's Choice Poll that I ran back in May. So thank you so much to all of you who voted in that poll and previous polls as well. Obviously this video's a little bit late, but better late than never, I suppose. And I'm actually looking really forward to doing this playthrough with you because Civ 5 is a game that I really enjoy quite a bit. I've played the Civ games since Civ 1, I guess, back on DOS with the old floppy disks, and I've played every entry since then, which doesn't mean I'm great. It just means I have fun with it. I like the game. So I'm looking forward to this. So let's get started with things here. We'll set up a new game. The first thing we've got to do is choose our leader, which is also our civilization. And there are a ton of options. I've got the both expansion packs, Gods and Kings and Brave New World, as well as all the DLC. So there are a lot of civs to pick from. But today I think we will go with something simple. And we'll just stick with Ramses II of Egypt. Egypt gets a 20% production bonus when producing wonders, which is a fairly solid, straightforward bonus. Similarly, lots of map types to choose from, different categories down here, but I think we'll stick with the tried and true continents, which is a couple of larger land masses surrounded by a smattering of smaller ones, islands and such. Tiny map size suits me fine. Civ games can be quite epic, can easily go on for hours. And with a tiny map size, we will stand a better chance of actually finishing this game. I don't intend to finish it in this video, because that would be too long, but if you guys like it, like this video, and want to see more Civ in future, then maybe we'll return to this game and perhaps finish up the map at some point in the future. Difficulty level. Prince is what's considered normal, which means the player doesn't receive any handicaps and the AI do not receive any bonuses or anything, so it's a level playing field. And that's where I like to play. I'm not a hardcore Civ player or anything, so that provides a, reasonable challenge. Starting with King, the AI receive advantages, and it only gets crazier from there. I find even King pretty challenging, and we're going for just a nice, relaxed game today anyway, so we'll stick with Prince. And standard game base, I think we'll do well as well. This is a nice, relaxed playthrough after all. No big rush. So let's start the game.
We greet thee, O great Ramses, pharaoh of Egypt, who causes the sun to rise and the Nile to flow, and who blesses his
going to
people with all the good things of life.
silence the narrator here, although he does have a fantastic voice. I love his accent. Makes me think a little bit of Liam Neeson.
Thousands of years ago,
The Egyptians get a war chariot as their unique military unit, and a burial tomb is their unique building. Let's start. So, here we are. Looks like we've started very appropriately next to a river. A delta, really, because this is where the river's emptying out into what's probably an ocean anyway. It's hard to tell yet, but very likely an ocean. And we've got some lush jungle surrounding us. For those of you who are not familiar with Civ 5 or the Civilization series in general, I suspect it will become evident very quickly what it's all about, but for a quick summary, you are playing the leader of a civilization that you are leading throughout the millennia, starting way back in 4000 BC, in ancient times, right through to potentially the modern day, and even into the near future. There's a few different ways you can win the game. You can win by being the first civilization in the world to launch a manned mission to Alpha Centauri. You can win by domination, just by beating the pants off all your opponents, all the other civilizations in the world. Or you can win by a cultural victory, which involves unlocking what this game calls social policies, which are like sort of ideologies and things like that. Or you can win a diplomatic victory where essentially the UN votes you the supreme leader of the world. So, I don't know what kind of victory we're going to be shooting for here yet, but Egypt is well suited to, well, a cultural victory potentially, but we'll see. I'll try and stick with something more relaxing, try and keep the fighting to a minimum, I think. But that's enough of that. Let's see what we've got around us here. We've got some stone nearby as a resource. We've got some marble. We've got some spices here and there. So that's not too bad. Let's settle a city here next to the river. This looks like a decent enough spot. So our first city is Thebes. It looks like we've got some desert to the north. Let's take our warrior and explore a little bit. Looks like more of the same to the south. So we've got to choose our first technology. You start with agriculture. That's the first research from which everything else stems. And then you're presented with the first tier of technologies that you can research. You can see there's a big tech tree that branches and continues all the way through time, era by era, until you reach the modern era and eventually the far future. But because it increases the food generation in your city if you build a granary. And increasing the food generation increases the speed by which your citizens multiply and by which your population grows, which in turn allows you to do more, produce buildings and military units faster and more gold, things like that. So let's start with pottery, and then maybe we'll consider mining as a second technology. And we also have to choose production, which is what our city is building or producing. We can start with a monument, or a worker, a scout, or a warrior. I like to start with a scout because they're good explorers. They help uncover the map that's all hidden under fog here. And one of the big benefits of exploring a lot early in the game is that there are ancient settlements, hidden settlements, which are just little villages, and when you explore them, you move on to the tile that they're on, you get a bonus, but they're consumed in the process, so it's quite beneficial to explore those before your opponents do. So let's start with building a scout. With that is the end of the turn. So we hit next turn. Let's continue heading this way with our warriors. Sure, we'll cross the river. Oh, it looks like we found a natural wonder, the Barringer Crater. Congratulations, the discovery of the Barringer Crater has increased happiness in the Empire. That's a great bonus. That's really handy. And output if worked, which means if we have a city nearby and there's citizens that are working on the tile that natural wonder is on, we get some gold and some extra science, which is kind of neat. Let's take a look. There it is. Big crater. We'll probably keep moving that way. We'll get a better look at it in a moment. But that's a nice thing to find. So that's all we can do for this turn. Our city is still working towards producing a scout in 6 turns. And it'll grow to size 2 city in 7 turns. Pottery is still 9 turns away, so next turn. Let's get a little further south. So there is one of those ruins that I mentioned, and by exploring it we'll get a bonus of some kind. So let's head in that direction. Okay. Well, that's actually pretty quick. So we've encountered our first AI player, and it is Haile Selassie of Ethiopia, who was, I think, the last monarch of Ethiopia. I could be wrong about that, but he says, 1,000 welcomes to our fair nation. I am Haile Selassie, the Raz Tafari Makonnen, sure, and Emperor of Ethiopia, your humble servant. And because we just met, he is neutral towards me. So we have a few options. We can declare war, which seems a little premature, but we could. We could set up a trade arrangement, but we have nothing to trade yet. Make demands, again, a bit premature. Discuss a handful of other things. Or just say, yeah, that's nice, goodbye. Which is what we're going to do for now. So, good to meet you. trying to steal these ancient ruins from me before I get a chance to explore them, which is a bit of a bummer, but that's what we're building a scout for, to try and out-explore the AI. So, the fact that we've run into an AI opponent so soon, so early in the game, means that he's probably nearby. His capital's probably somewhere just down here, which could cause problems later in the game as we start butting borders. But we'll see. Let's hit next turn. And we see that, yes, our new friend did indeed explore those ruins before we could, which is too bad. But we'll keep heading east. Maybe we'll find something else interesting. Looks like we've got some gold down this way. Maybe we'll turn south just to see if we can find, and there we are, Addis Ababa. It'll be the Ethiopian capital. So, yeah, we're actually very close. Starting off, which could be troublesome. I'll try and explore this area while I can before it ends up behind Ethiopia's borders. Head south. Skirt around the city here. Looks like we're actually... Oh, we can't move there anymore because the city's cultural borders expanded. We're not allowed to enter an AI's cultural borders without an open borders treaty. We'll risk war if we do that. So let's head back this way, across the river, north of Addis Ababa there. Looks like we just produced our scout, which is great. And maybe we'll send him north, across the river, and see what's up that way. A whole lot of desert, it looks like. And we get to choose something else to produce. There's a few options again. A worker, which is very handy for upgrading tiles around the city, which make them produce more resources, or get us special resources like stone and marble. But there's not a lot of improving to be done here yet, because we could make some farms and such, but it's also going to take 17 turns to pop that worker out. A warrior, but I don't think we need another warrior right now. Let's go with the monument for now, which increases the cultural output of Thebes and will help us unlock new social policies sooner. Social policies, as I mentioned before, are sort of little miniature trees of ideologies and, well, social policies, exactly what it calls them. Things like tradition. Under that heading we have aristocracy, legalism, landed elites, monarchy. These sorts of policies that provide various bonuses to our civilization. So anyway, let's build a monument to generate more culture. Thebes has grown, that's nice. We'll head back up around there. Alright, let's head up this hill to get a feel for the lay of the land. So it looks like we probably are indeed on an ocean here, which is nice. Gives us access to the wider world once we get ships. Ethiopians do it. Yeah, religion was introduced in the Gods and Kings expansion, and it has an interesting system where you can gain a whole bunch of bonuses and spread influence of your religion around the world. I don't think I'm going to be pursuing religion too much in this playthrough. It can be fairly powerful, but I think we'll pass on that for now. We'll see. So let's move our scout. We'll just take him north a little bit. More ocean, more desert. And because we finished pottery, we get to pick a new tech. Animal husbandry is pretty good. It lets us create trade routes with caravans. It'll allow us to see horses on the map, which is particularly valuable for the Egyptians because we need horses for the chariots, which are an early game military unit that's unique to the Egyptians. But mining's also pretty appealing because we've got our stone and marble resources here. But I think we'll do animal husbandry first, actually, because it would be good to have some horses, and it would be good to establish a trade route as well, which will generate extra gold. Maybe trade with our Ethiopian buddies down there. Okay, let's make a beeline for these ruins before they get snapped up. Oh good, more ruins and natural wonder. We found Old Faithful. We are a long way from Yellowstone, but that's okay. It's once again increased happiness in the Empire, and if we were to work that tile, we would receive some extra science, and if it's anywhere within our borders, we gain 3 happiness, which is great. That's a compelling reason to build a city nearby, so we'll see if there are some other decent resources near Old Faithful. It looks like it's kind of in the middle of a desert, maybe, which is not so great, but we'll see. And these ruins right here, of course, which we'll grab next turn. Okay, let's grab the ruins. We found cultural artifacts which awe our citizens. We've received 20 culture, which is almost enough. Oh, it is enough actually, to give us our first social policy. It only required 25. We just got 20 additional, so next turn we'll get to pick our first social policy. Let's see what's in this one here. We find a treasure of an ancient empire. It must be very ancient indeed if it's older than our current empire. We got 80 gold, which is great. It's quite a bit at this stage of the game. We've also found some barbarians, obviously, hunkered down in a camp here, and our scout over here found another barbarian camp. Scouts are not that great at fighting, and these barbarians are fortified in a camp, so I'm not going to mess with them right now. Our warriors, on the other hand, might have a reasonable chance of wearing down these barbarians. And if we do manage to beat them, we'll get some experience for our scout, which will go towards giving him perks, certain bonuses, and we'll get some gold for looting that barbarian encampment, so we might do that. So we get to pick a social policy this turn. There's a smaller cities. Honor is focused on military and generally not as good as tradition or liberty, though it is handy early game if you're rushing, for military conflict really early on, or if you're fighting a lot of barbarians or whatever, you get bonuses against barbarians, but probably not doing honor. And piety, which is very much geared towards empires that generate faith and that are going for founding a religion, which I don't think I'm going to do this game. I think tradition fits us a little bit better than liberty. I think I plan on building a tall empire rather than a wide empire, and a tall empire is lends itself to a cultural victory because unlocking social policies, additional social policies, gets harder and harder the more cities you have. I guess that's supposed to represent the idea that widespread social change happens much more slowly when you have a lot of area to cover, a lot of people to convince or to change, whereas a smaller, more focused empire can more rapidly unlock new social policies. Anyway, man, I'm talking a lot. We're not getting a lot done this game, but that's alright. So let's unlock tradition. The first thing that'll do for us is we'll increase the rate of border expansion of cities, and causes the capital to generate more culture, which is fantastic. It's exactly what we want. So we can close our social policy window now. Looks to me like we've got some more coastline up here, and I don't really want to head up that way and, tangle with the barbarians, so let's... we can't step on Old Faithful, apparently. Let's go around this way and head south, or southwest. So, let's take a look at combat here. It looks like we are perfectly evenly matched with these barbarians. You can see over on the left-hand side there, it's calling a stalemate. But we regenerate health potentially between turns if we choose to do so, whereas the barbarians do not. They'll just sit there in their encampment with whatever losses they've suffered. So we can attack over a few subsequent turns, with a couple turns in between, rather, healing up, and probably wear down this encampment. Let's give it a shot. There's also a somewhat random element, so the numbers in that case were actually not in our favor. It was close. We lost 29 in points, they lost 27. But as I said, we'll rest up here next turn, or for a couple of turns, heal up that damage, and then attack again. Next turn. So a pantheon has been founded by Ethiopia, which means they're going to be, at some point, probably trying to spread their religion to my empire, which might be fine. It depends on how they're using it and what benefits their religion comes with, because followers of a religion, even if I didn't found it, just by following it, I gain certain bonuses. So we'll see how that goes. Let's head west. So it looks like this is just a little peninsula. Maybe. I see trees here, which is curious. We'll move one more this way. Interesting. Looks like the Ethiopians might be coming to get a piece of this. Well, let's hit them one more time here. So that was again a perfectly matched encounter. So next turn we'll definitely want to heal up for a few turns. because scouts are very poor at combat, and it looks like they've managed to move themselves within range of not just one but two barbarian units here. I don't really know what their plan is, but I think I'll sit back and watch for a turn or two while these guys heal up. They've also earned a promotion by fighting, earned enough experience to gain a promotion, and there's a couple different options here. We can choose to heal them instantly, which in this case would actually be quite useful, but it's a little bit of a waste because the other promotions here will give us permanent bonuses. Drill 1 will give us a combat bonus in rough terrain, which are like hills and forests and stuff. And Shock 1 will give us a combat bonus in open terrain. So it's a little bit arbitrary which you choose because there's obviously a mix of both all over the map. But in this case, we're actually fighting we're fighting for a plains. Although we're standing on a hill, so I'm not sure which one comes into play when calculating the combat bonus. I think it's the one that we start the combat on, which would be drill 1 for rough terrain. So let's take that and gain a little bonus against these guys, hopefully. But we're gonna heal up for a turn or two anyway, and we'll see what happens with that Ethiopian scout there. So here it looks like we have a city-state. That's what this dashed border indicates. Probably right there. In fact, last turn we saw it shoot at these barbarians. Discovering city-states can be pretty useful. You gain a little bit of money, especially if you're the first one to discover them, first civ on the map to do so. And you can establish a good relationship with them where you get benefits from them, like extra food or military resources, things like that. That being said, I don't really want to tangle with these barbarians. It looks like, as it stands, I can't even get over there because this, I think, is water right here. So this is just a little spur of land. So let's go around and see. So we run into mountains, blocking us from getting over here. So we're gonna have to head south and around. We've also found some ruins, which we'll definitely snag next turn. So what happened with the combat down here? Looks like the scout ran and left me in a kind of a poor position here, where I'm fighting 2 units of barbarians, which is less than ideal. So we might have to beat a hasty retreat for a couple of turns. We can always come back in a few turns once this guy's maybe left, maybe gone after the Ethiopians or something. This guy won't heal, so we're in no super huge rush. Let's head north. Oh, we found a city-state. Ragusa. We're the first great empire they have met, which is surprising, given the Ethiopians are nearby. So we get 30 gold. They are a maritime nation, which means that if I'm friends with them, we get extra food in my capital. They are friendly, which is nice, and they have whales nearby, which I would also receive if I were allies with them. So that's all good. Close that. So city-states differ from other civs in that they're a lot smaller. They only ever have one city, and you have those specific interactions with them that I just showed there, or you can befriend them and you get benefits, but they'll never go to war with you unless unless you declare war on them and you're fighting them, or unless they are allied with also at war with. And they have some other uses as well, like they can vote. They'll vote for you if you're allied with them, and they're voting in the UN later in the game, stuff like that. Anyway, let's move along. Snag these ruins. Discover a crudely drawn map, which shows the surrounding area, which is kind of handy. But also a bit of a bummer. That's probably one of the less useful bonuses that you can receive. But it will save us some time exploring. It doesn't look like it's revealed any new settlements or any new ruins, but it has revealed another city-state down here, which we will go and meet. And revealed some barbarians nearby as well. So we get to pick something new to produce here in Thebes. Like I said, I like to build a granary early on because it helps the city grow faster. But we should also think about getting a worker out pretty soon. Start improving the land around the city because that also helps the city grow faster. And they both take roughly the same number of turns, so let's start on a worker. And maybe we'll build a granary after that.
Thou shalt not muzzle the ox when you tread it out.
So we've just researched animal husbandry, which, as I mentioned, it reveals horses on the map and allows us to establish trade routes with other civilizations by building caravan units. And we will definitely do that at some point, but not right away, because I want to get a worker first. This is just a tool tip that popped up explaining how trade routes work. You can have a maximum number of trade routes in your civilization at any given time. Right now we start with one, but you can get more later. Okay, so we got some Ethiopians hanging out over here. But let's head straight for this city-state, Malacca, down there. Looks like these barbarians are kind of wandering off. Maybe to go and harass me in Thebes, I don't know. But just come over here maybe. Circle back around and attack this encampment in another turn or two. So because we finished up animal husbandry, we get to pick a new tech. And like I mentioned, I think we'll go for mining. So that when our worker appears, we'll be able to, well, eventually anyway, once we've got masonry, we'll be able to take advantage of these resources here. So, let's meet Malacca. We are not the first civ they've encountered, so they only give us 15 gold, which is interesting. I wonder if it's the Ethiopians that have met them already, or if it was a different civ. We'll find out, I guess. Or we won't really, probably, unless we find another civ nearby. They are mercantile, which can potentially generate extra happiness for our empire. They are hostile, which means they're more likely to get angry with me if I do stuff that displeases them, and they're more likely to be antagonistic towards other city-states. And it looks like they have porcelain and gems nearby, which I could potentially receive from them if I was allied with them. And we get to unlock a new social policy. So we've got a few options here. We've got aristocracy, which gives us an additional benefit when producing wonders, on top of the benefit that we receive from being Egyptian. first, and then you can't build it, a given wonder, and you don't receive the benefit. And some of the benefits are very good, like unlocking free technologies and things like that. So that allows us to produce wonders even faster and gives us more happiness in cities. Legalism provides a free culture building, which is a little bit pointless at this moment because I've already built the monument in Thebes, which is the culture building that we would otherwise get for free, but for subsequent cities it could be useful. And we've got oligarchy, which means that if we have a military unit garrisoned within a city, it doesn't cost maintenance, which is a recurring gold upkeep cost per turn that all military units regularly cost, and our city becomes fortified, it becomes stronger, an extra 50% ranged combat damage, which is great if we were fighting, but we're not. So I think the most beneficial thing right now is probably aristocracy, although it's going to be a little bit before we build a wonder. But that's okay. We'll take that for now. Probably take legalism next time, because that allows us to get landed elite, which makes our capital grow faster, and monarchy, which makes extra gold and less unhappiness in our capital. As a matter of fact, maybe I should have done legalism this time to get access to those two, because they're both quite good. But that's alright. So we've got some barbarians hanging out here. We're gonna probably have to give them a decent berth. Kind of navigate around them. But why don't we head north and just explore this little, or east really, and explore that little patch that we haven't seen yet. So these barbarians are still hanging out here. Maybe I will fortify and heal for another turn. And if they come attack, we're in rough terrain, so we'll be at an advantage. And we'll be a little more healed up by then. We can probably take them. Or else they'll just disappear and we can move in on the encampment here. So they have opted to, it looks like, antagonize Ragusa here, which will actually potentially work to our advantage, because Ragusa will probably shoot at them next turn, and then we can maybe move in and mop them up, or we could just ignore them and go after the encampment here. But I don't really want to sandwich myself between them, because if they decided to come back and attack from behind, that could get messy. So for this turn we're just going to sit tight here and heal up. So it looks like there were some horses in that little empty patch, and some barbarians who would not be smart to fight with their scouts. I guess we'll just... I'm not in a great position with our scouts here. I'd rather not fight these guys if we can avoid it, but I don't really want to go too far out of our way. Maybe we'll head north and then east and start exploring in this direction. Or these guys will move and we'll head south. We'll see. I think this is getting to be a very long video. I'm not sure. There we go. Yeah, Ragusa shot them. Rats. Barbarians decided to attack our scouts, and we won't die, but as a matter of fact, actually, that was relatively even. We took almost exactly the same amount of damage the barbarians did, and maybe if we play our cards right, we can sort of lure them over to Thebes and then shoot them from our capital. So let's head in that direction. Yeah, gosh, I don't even know how long this is so far, but But that is the quintessential Civ 5 thing. It's so easy to lose track of time. It's just one more turn, one more turn. And it's getting awfully late for me right now. It's basically the middle of the night. So I think we'll wrap this up shortly. But we'll do, one more turn. Can't let these barbarians just get away after all. So it still might be a little bit premature to attack them. I suspect Ragusa will shoot them again next turn. And we'll also heal up a bit more. There we go. Yes, so it does look like the barbarians are coming towards our capital, which has just grown. That's nice. If we move here, we'll see what the barbarians choose to do, but it's still not wise to attack. Maybe these Ethiopian scouts will decide to attack them, we'll see. But let's move back towards our city. Alright, so now is probably a great time to move in and attack these, well, maybe we'll wait for one more turn. I don't think they're gonna get, it doesn't really matter. It looks like we will be very close to wiping them out, and we might finish them off. If we don't, then the Ragusa will shoot them next turn, but let's do this. There we go. So we cleaned up, which will probably have gained us some favor with Ragusa. Looks like it has. A tiny bit of favor, which is nice. Yeah, that's what this is telling us down here. And our scouts. Looks like we've lost those barbarians back here somewhere. But they do need to heal, so let's garrison them in Thebes. And they'll heal up for a turn or two. They'll also cost no upkeep while they're there, which is nice. We've researched mining now, which is great. But I'm not going to be using that for a couple of turns, at least. So let's head back to the south and see about engaging this barbarian encampment. So, we open our tech tree here, and we've only got one ancient era technology left to research, and that is archery. Which we are going to want to get because it eventually leads to war chariots, which is our special unit, and eventually composite bowmen as well, which are very good early game units. Although masonry would be another very good choice because we will have a worker soon who will be able to mine our quarry, the stone and marble that are nearby. And calendar would be a good choice too, so we can build plantations and get those spices. So lots of difficult choices here, but well, actually let's go for masonry. That should finish up right around the time we get our worker, and we'll build quarries on those resources. Okay. Yeah, 11 turns for a worker, 10 turns for masonry. That works out well. Here come those barbarians. We'll see what they do next turn. I hope they come fight. Looks like they are. Perfect. those barbarians again. And another pantheon has been founded by an unknown civilization, someone we haven't discovered yet. Next turn. So by fighting those barbarians, we earned a promotion for our scout. We have the choice to heal instantly, or survivalism, which makes them heal turn by turn, even outside of friendly territory, which is great. Or scouting, which is +1 visibility range. I think we're gonna go with scouting because, oops, sorry, a little bump. Because they're scout, that's what they're for, and that's quite useful. So there we are. They can see further now, and we'll send them back into Thebes and let them heal up over a couple of turns. Somewhat predictably, the barbarian encampment has popped out another barbarian. I think I'm gonna try holding ground here. They'll probably attack us. I don't expect these guys to attack us unless they think they can get the kill. So we might be able to just fortify here, fight off these guys, and then finish off these guys. We do receive a bonus in rough terrain, so we'll see what happens there. That seems to be my phrase of the night. See what happens. The people who like shiny things the most, which is the richest people. Me, apparently. I'm the richest player right now, followed by our Ethiopian neighbors, and then 2 unmet players who are both dirt poor. I should probably start putting that money towards good use. There's no point in hoarding it, really. But we'll have to think about what to spend that on. You can buy units. If we go into Thebes here, it is an option to purchase units. We could buy a shrine. In fact, just this turn, we can buy a shrine, which will generate faith for us. But I'm not really looking to found a pantheon, and it does have a maintenance cost associated with it, so I don't really see a lot of reason to build a shrine right now. Maybe we'll save up for a granary. It's not a bad idea. Anyway, or we could choose to spend our gold on influencing one of these city-states, maybe Ragusa, because they seem like friendly sorts. And by paying them off, basically, we choose to give them a gift. We'll earn influence with them, which will eventually make them friends with us, and we'll get benefits. But I think we'll wait on that. I think we'll go for the greenery, maybe, or the granary, excuse me, once that's available to us. Next turn. So these barbarians over here don't seem too interested in fighting. My warriors, in fact, they seem more like they're going after Ragusa again, which actually is great because it means I can keep killing them and keep gaining favor with Ragusa. I'll also gain favor with them by defeating the encampment here, which I think we'll do first. But we'll wait for these guys to move a little further away, just in case. I don't want to get sandwiched there. Our scout is still healing. Almost fully healed. Not quite though. Alright, these guys are kind of just hanging out. Let's just go for it. Let's see what happens. So that was great. We lost almost nothing, and almost totally wiped out the encampment. We get a new social policy now. Oh, that's right, I had not unlocked that yet. So it does cost the scout still costs maintenance in town, but it doesn't matter. Let's do legalism. Not super useful just yet, but it lets us get landed elite and monarchy, both of which are great. See what happens next turn. So those barbarians really don't seem to know what they're doing. Our scouts are back up at full health, so let's move out. Continue exploring. We're left faced with a decision here. We can take out the encampment, or we can take out these barbarians here. I'm actually more inclined to take out these roaming barbarians because the encampment guys aren't going anywhere, and their health is not going to regenerate, so let's gain a little experience by hitting these barbarians down here. And, oh, we didn't quite finish them up. That's it's a bit unfortunate, but that's okay. Next turn, we can probably finish them, then them. Or he'll just get shot, right? That's okay. So, it looks like, there's not a lot going on between us and Ragusa here. Of course, the encampment has popped out yet another barbarian, which is the downside of leaving these encampments for more turns, so I don't know if I want to run in there right now at low health and then have to fight this guy subsequently. So let's fortify again. It's a slow process. And this is a very long video. This is going to take forever to upload. Let's take our scout back sort of southwest. Start exploring that direction again. This game is so addictive, though. You just keep wanting to see what's going to happen, I think now we're in a good position to take this encampment, so let's do so. We've dispersed a villainous barbarian encampment and recovered 25 gold from it. And, it looks like Ragusa did not thank us for that, which is too bad, but such is life. I guess maybe it's got to be a specific quest. They have to ask us for help with barbarians, or it's got to be a barbarian we fight within their borders for it to count. So we just researched masonry, which lets us build walls for a city and improve its defense. It also allows us to construct quarries, which is great. We will set our warriors to heal up, but first let's look at what kind of promotions we can give them, because they just promoted again. Heal instantly again, but we don't need that right now. Amphibious, which means that they can move from a water tile, like an embarked boat, onto land, without suffering a penalty when attacking. Or without suffering a penalty when attacking over a river. That's nice, because rivers are a significant penalty, but defense against ranged attacks. Medic, which is pretty great. Allows them to heal adjacent units. Drill 2 or Shock 1. Let's keep investing in Drill 2, or in the Drill line, I think. Because when you top that out, there are some pretty good options that become available. So let's do that. Okay, so maybe now's a good time to do archery, now that we've finished up with masonry. Heal those guys. Our scouts are off on their adventure to parts unknown. Our warriors down here will heal over a few turns and then continue exploring a second city as well. But we're going to save that for another time, because this is a very long video now, and it's definitely time for me to get some sleep. Maybe for you too. I hope you enjoyed this video. I've had a lot of fun making it. As I said, I really enjoy Civ 5. And if you did like this, I would be happy to carry on, with a few more episodes of this. So please do let me know down in the comments. I really appreciate that. And once again, thank you to everybody who voted in the May Viewers' Choice Poll, because that's why I'm doing this video right now. It was originally suggested as a poll option by actually a Reddit user whose name escapes me right now, but it was requested on the Gaming ASMR subreddit, which I'd like to just shout out. It's a great little subreddit. It's not super duper active. I would love to see it get more active, and I imagine a lot of you folks watching this are into gaming and into ASMR. And that is exactly what happens on that subreddit. That's exactly what's posted there. So it's called R Gaming ASMR. Great little subreddit that could use some more attention. I'd love to see grow. So do go check it out if that's your kind of thing. I am hoping to get to have a new poll up for this month, for July, which we're well into now. Maybe in the next couple of days, I'll think about that. We'll see. But we missed the Viewers' Choice Poll last month, so I'd like to do one this month. I think that's everything I wanted to say. Oh yeah, next video might be Skyrim, but I am on the cusp of uninstalling and doing a clean install and overhauling all of my mods, which is a huge undertaking, but I'm really looking forward to it because it's going to make the game just gorgeous. I've got some really nice stuff lined up, even more beautiful than it already is. And if I do end up doing that before I film the next Skyrim Wander, that's going to delay the next Skyrim Wander by a bit, because, as I mentioned, that's a lot of work. And it's going to take a little bit of time to do. So maybe Skyrim next, if I do that before I start that overhaul. If not, Minecraft will be the next video, because we are long overdue for a new episode of Pixel Paradise, in addition to a new episode of Pokemon Yellow, which will probably follow. So many videos to make, so much stuff to get caught up on, and you guys are always requesting new stuff all the time, which is fantastic. I love that, and please don't stop. I love hearing your ideas. Obviously, I can't do everything that's requested, but I like hearing the ideas nonetheless, and I will certainly, do my best to meet at least some of those requests, or add them to the Viewers' Choice Poll, which is really the best way to deal with those sorts of things. So, I think that's everything. Gosh, I've done a lot of talking this video. This is a very long video. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, I really hope you enjoyed this. I never really ask this, but someone pointed out to me that I should be reminding you, if you did indeed enjoy this, please consider subscribing to the channel. It grows slowly and steadily, which is fantastic. And please consider commenting down below, because I'd love to hear from you guys. So, I think it's time we wrap this up. I don't know if you can hear, but the birds outside my window are starting to make a racket, which means it is very late indeed, or early, depending on your point of view.